Hello everyone. I hope you can hear and see me very well. Really good evening. I hope you're all well. I'm Ina Wearn. I'm nutritionist, functional medicine practitioner and health coach. We will just wait for another few minutes to let people to join in, and then we will start. So before we start, just a few housekeeping rules here. So the presentation will be about 40 minutes, and then we will open the stage for the Q&A. If you could please put your questions into Q&A box so that I can answer them. Please do not put them into the chat box because I may not be able to see them and then I will not be able to answer them. And if any of you really like the question that somebody else has asked, then you can upvote it and the question will appear at the top of the Q&A. So this is just the ground rules, and I see that there are quite few people have already joined, and don't worry, this webinar is being recorded and you will be able to find it on the Small World website so that you can catch up if you need to have a recap about what we were talking about. Okay, hello everybody again. I will introduce myself again. I'm Ina Wearn. I'm nutritionist, functional medicine practitioner and health coach. I specialize in women's health and especially supporting women going through the perimenopause. My mission is to help women to navigate the menopause transition as smooth as possible, so that women can feel great, to be full of energy, to look really fabulous, have glowing skin, and have a healthy and happy lives. Today, we will be talking about what is perimenopause, how do you know you're in it, and I will also tell you about what you need to eat and what to avoid, and why dieting and extreme exercise may not work for you anymore. So this talk is not only for those women who is going through the change, but also for those who has not quite yet the perimenopause, perimenopause yet, because through this talk you will understand, what is coming and what to expect. Women just really do not get enough information they need about what happens to their own bodies. And the menopause was a taboo subject for a long time, and only recently that we start to talk about it. Women were told just, you're getting old, get on with it, do not complain. And women were suffering in silence. That's why I love what I do, because I can provide you with the information about hormones, and the more information you have, the better you will be in control of your journey, and you will know how to make your hormones happy so that they will look after you. So what are the hormones? Hormones are chemical messengers, and they tell the body cells what to do. There are over 100 hormones identified in our body. They're produced by different parts of the body, as you could see. But main hormones we're talking today about is estrogen, progesterone. This is what we will concentrate today on. So, and these hormones pretty much control everything we do. They change children into adults. They help those adults to make children, and they have huge influence over how we feel, think, eat, move, metabolize, digest, sleep, and pretty much generally how we function. So all in all, you cannot live without the hormones. And when there are all these hormones are working optimally, then you're going to be generally healthy. However, in modern life and as you age, there are several challenges that our hormones face that can tip them out of balance and cause symptoms in many different parts of our body. When I was in my 30s, I thought that the menopause is something that will happen to me in a distant future, sometimes when I will be in my 50s or so, and one day I will become a menopausal. But no, it is not so. Woman's body is preparing for this event for years, for many years. And in my clinic, when I speak to the women, there's so many of them do not realize that their symptoms are due to hormonal imbalance. And this is because these hormone changes, as I said, do not happen overnight. They creep up on us very, very gradually. And women just get used to be a little bit tight, a little bit more irritated, the periods may be not there, or, out of the sync. And it actually will pay future dividends for you to understand the perfect storm that perimenopause can be and associated hormone imbalances. Because perimenopause is not well understood by many women. Most women do not realize that perimenopause could be quite rocky and difficult because hormones fluctuate from month to month, sometimes mildly, sometimes really fiercely. If you think about perimenopause, it is adolescent in reverse. So out of all women, only about 10 to 15% will sail through with very little symptoms of perimenopause. However, the 80 to 85% of women will experience a wide range of symptoms. And all of those symptoms will have physical, emotional, and psychological aspects. And for many women, symptoms related to menopause significantly will be affecting their daily personal, social, and professional lives. And there was a survey conducted by the British Menopause Society in 2017, and it has revealed that 47% of women said that they needed to take a day off work due to menopause symptoms. 33% felt less outgoing in social situation. 51% said that the menopause had affected their sex lives. And 10% of women stopped work due to difficulties around the menopause symptoms. And considering that there are millions of women in their 40s and 50s are in full-time in employment in the UK, it could be a real problem for women to perform at their best. And in many circumstances, women could be at the height of their careers. They juggle family life, and some of the symptoms means that it is difficult for them to perform at the levels that they previously done. So what I would like to do today really is to give you the tools, give you the information so that you can really be controlled in your hormones and you can navigate this transition quite smoothly. What I would like to start with here is to see what is menopause and what is perimenopause, so that we are clear on this concept. So menopause is technically one day of your life, and it is a day that marks a year since your last period. So if a woman didn't have period for 12 months, it is unlikely she will have one. And average age of menopause for women in the UK is about 51 years. Perimenopause is anything leading to that day, and it can last something between 5 to 10 years, sometimes for some women 13 years. And real action happens in perimenopause and postmenopause. Postmenopause is a time, any time after that last period that woman has. So, and in order to have as best transition as possible, it is important to be optimally healthy going in and understanding what is happening in your body and supporting this body so that you can have your body to produce adequate amount of hormones that will be enough for you for the rest of your life. And this is woman's natural transition. However, some women stop, the natural production of eggs stops abruptly, and it is called premature menopause. So the premature menopause could be spontaneous or induced. So spontaneous menopause, it could be due to when women run out of ripe eggs before the age of 40, and it could be due to autoimmunity, environmental exposures, or genetic factors. And induced menopause, it is due to cancer treatments such as chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or surgery as hysterectomy. And the symptoms of premature menopause can be very severe and debilitating because there is no this gradual transition as with natural menopause. So there is an instant hormone drop off, and therefore usually these women are prescribed hormone treatments. But today we're talking about natural perimenopause. So how do you know if you are in perimenopause? I just really like this little cartoon. I think it is very funny. So if you are 40 or over, and if you have experienced in the last 6 months one or more of these following symptoms: irregular period or worsening PMS, weight gain without obvious reasons, fatigue when you feel tired all the time, night sweats or hot flushes, mood swings, sometimes moments of real rage, poor sleep where you can't get full sleep, or you wake up during the night and you can't go back to sleep, joint pains that you have never had before, suddenly your hair becomes thin, skin loses elasticity and becomes dry, you experiencing anxiety or depression, headaches or migraines, forgetfulness and inability to concentrate, which can be a real problem in the workplace, and a loss of sex drive. If you have answered yes to 2 or 3 of those symptoms and you're over 40, it is likely that you're going through the perimenopause. And the closer you get to your last period, the stronger symptoms can be. But if you use a natural solution, you prepare your body well in advance and follow my advice, then you can eliminate the symptoms or lessen them, and the sooner you will start to tackle them, the better. Now let's have a look at what's happening with our hormones and why women start experiencing those symptoms. Our monthly cycle is predetermined by the production of the eggs, which is stimulated by the production of 2 main hormones, estrogen and progesterone, during our reproductive months. Woman has a finite number of eggs. And as a female fetus, woman has about 6 to 7 million of eggs. By the time the baby girl is born, it reduces to 1 to 2 million eggs. And by the time the girl reaches puberty, it goes down between 300,000 to 400,000 eggs. And at the age of 40, it is expected that woman will have something like 18,000 eggs. So you could see that number of eggs during the woman's life significantly drops. So basically, body reabsorbs these cells, these little follicles. So now let's have a look what is happening with our hormones during the reproductive years, so that we can compare what happens to reproductive years and what happens in perimenopause. Very quickly, just to remind you, on the first day of our period, our brain, it's here, sends signal to our ovaries to start producing follicles. And our ovaries produce between 5 to 20 follicles, which is small sacs. And at the same time, these follicles start to produce estrogen. So estrogen starts to rise, and this thickens the lining of the uterus. When estrogen reaches its peak, which is around the day 14, the follicle releases the egg, and it is called ovulation. So an egg travels down the fallopian tube towards the uterus, ready for implantation, fertilization. So, and this corpus luteum, follicle, this follicle that was containing the egg becomes corpus luteum, and this corpus luteum starts producing hormone called progesterone. And progesterone will continue thickening the lining of the uterus, which is still preparing for the implantation. However, if the egg was not fertilized, then the egg will be absorbed by the body and both hormones will drop and the uterine lining will start to shed and the next period will start. And if you follow these two lines of estrogen here and progesterone, it is called the dance of the hormones, because one hormone follows another. Estrogen is rising, it reaches its peak, it starts to drop, and then progesterone start rising, and then they both drop. And when these hormones are working in harmony, this is when we feel most vital. They're like a dance partners, one following another. But what happens in perimenopause? Many women or many people assume that when we going into perimenopause, then we have a low levels of estrogen. But in fact, during the early stages of perimenopause, and actually until the age of about 50, there can be parts of your cycle where your estrogen levels can be quite high. So, and what's happened when we enter perimenopause, we may still have a period, but we not ovulate. And this is because our egg reserve is lower. And we have seen it on the previous slide that the egg reserve drops dramatically when we reach 40. So, and if your ovaries do not ovulate, the egg do not ovulate, there's no progesterone, but our brain still pumps the signal to our ovaries and tells them, you know, we need more estrogen, we need estrogen because we need to ovulate, but ovaries simply not responding to the signal from the brain as efficiently as it was before in our early years. And in an attempt to compensate for the lack of this response, the brain will produce more and more this hormone that will raise the estrogen levels higher and higher. So therefore, when we do not ovulate, we will produce a lot of estrogen and not enough progesterone. There is no ovulation, there is no corpus luteum, there is no progesterone. And this is called estrogen dominance. And during the estrogen, during our cycle, we have estrogen dominance, what happens, we start experiencing symptoms of water retention, breast tenderness, irritability, painful periods, mood swings, anxiety, headaches, migraines, and also acne. And you could see that the symptoms are not only physical, but it is also emotional. And actually during the perimenopause, the emotional roller coaster can be in play all months long. And actually today it is quite common for women to have much more estrogen before they reach the age of 50. And I believe that there is a twofold reason for that. Women are more emotionally stressed, and also in modern life, we're exposed to artificial estrogens more than ever. And artificial estrogens, they're called xenoestrogens. They're coming from the environment and they can really disrupt our hormones. Progesterone is plays usually more supportive role to estrogen. And in addition to balancing estrogen, it's really important for our overall sense of well-being and equilibrium. It helps us to release excess fluid in our body because it is natural diuretic. It helps us sleep, and it generally makes us calm, ease, and helps to neutralize stress. The similar symptoms can occur when during some cycles when the follicle does not develop properly, and then the level of estrogen can be low rather than being high. It could be a little bit confusing, but this is what happens. During perimenopause, our hormones really fluctuate. Estrogen can be too high, it could be too low, and both of this situation will cause symptoms. So, and again, if there is not enough estrogen, the ovary does not release there is no estrogen, there is no ovulation. So, and symptoms of low estrogen are hot flushes and night sweats, it is dry skin, it is low libido, tearfulness, wrinkles, weight gain, and forgetfulness or brain fog. So, and all this illustrates how variable the hormone levels can be during this perimenopausal stage. And it is really difficult to predict what levels they will be next month or during this particular month. So that's why it is really, really very important to look after yourself during this period so that your symptoms are as smooth as possible. And maintaining the balanced diet and also healthy lifestyle and reducing stress levels can play really important role in making this transition smoother. And making sure that you eat well during the perimenopause is not only going to help with this transition, but it will also give you really good foundation for your long-term health. Because in current world, in current life, we live a quite long life. You may live for another 30, 50 years. And therefore, it is beneficial to get advantage of situation now of sowing seeds for future health. And actually eating well, it is one thing that you can do right away. And you can feel the difference really quickly. And this is because food directly affects our biochemistry and our hormone balance. To truly balance your hormones, you need to start seeing food differently. Because food is not just the calories. And your body is not like a bank account, in, out, in, out. Your body is a chemistry lab. And food is information. And it sends vital messages to our cells. And actually our hormones, they do not respond to calories, they respond to nutrients. And it is literally can tell your body to burn or store fat, to increase or decrease energy levels, to alter your mood, to change how your brain function, or to switch on genes that cause disease. So let's have a look at what are my top menopausal foods for nourishing your hormones so that they work for you and not against you. So first is increase your phytoestrogens or introduce phytoestrogens to your diet. Phytoestrogens are plant foods that can have an estrogen-like activity and hormone balancing effect on your body. And phytoestrogens may help with perimenopause and perimenopausal symptoms, such as helping to reduce incidence of hot flushes, night sweats, and also memory changes. And a good source of phytoestrogens, is soy, and use organic sources, and use the fermented forms like miso, tofu, or tempeh. Another good source of phytoestrogens is flaxseed. Ground, please use it ground, otherwise body will not be able to process it. And about 2 tablespoons per day, and you can add them into your smoothies, into your porridge, into your salads, stews, yogurt. It's really very versatile. So, and products like chickpeas, lentils, sprouted mung, and alfalfa beans also have some phytoestrogens. Cruciferous vegetables have a particularly beneficial function for your hormones because, and cruciferous vegetables are cauliflower, the white red cabbage, Savoy cabbage, Brussels sprouts, kale, etc., watercress, kohlrabi. So there is a list here. Why is they so important? Because they contain a special compound called indole carbinol. You don't have to remember that, but which this compound help to detoxify excess estrogens in the body. And we talked about that the excess estrogen or estrogen dominance is quite prevalent in women in modern world. So if your liver has a lot of toxin to deal with, then things can back up in the body and you could have this excess estrogen, which could be recirculated in your system, and it is not good, because once estrogen has performed their function in the body, it needs to be excreted. We need estrogen, but it can be quite dangerous if it is recirculated in the body. So we talked about the estrogen dominance, and the estrogen dominance include symptoms of breast tenderness, water retention, and actually it may increase risk of cancer. So it is very important to get rid of so-called old estrogens. So try to include about 1 to 2 portions of cruciferous vegetables a day. What is a portion? Portion is about the handful. This is about a portion. So keep hydrated. Water is really a little bit underappreciated. Your body is 2/3 of water, and water provides means for nutrients to travel to organs and for toxins to be removed from the body. It also helps hormones to circulate around the body. And in addition, water helps to metabolize stored body fat. That's why it is making it crucial for weight management. So you really need to keep your levels up. So aim for 1.2 to 1.5 liters of fluid a day, and it includes water and herbal teas. And water doesn't have to be plain. You can always flavor water with fresh strawberries or fresh apple, pineapple, with herbs, mint and cucumber. So it's really very wonderful. As far as herbal teas are concerned, for perimenopause, sage and rosemary are really very good, helping you with menopause symptoms. So do brew your fresh herbal tea. If you have opportunity in a garden, in your own garden, if you don't have a garden, then you can grow these herbs on windowsills. All in all, it is really very good for your hormones. We probably you heard a lot about fats, and information out there could be really very confusing. Fat is your friend, and we're talking about good fats. We need fat for production of our sex hormones. They're made of fat. They're made of cholesterol molecule. So brain is made of 60% of fat. Every cell in the body needs fat for membranes to work properly. Fat is also needed to dampen down inflammation, and it helps to prevent cravings between the meals. And also fat helps to absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. If we don't have fat, then this vitamin simply is not getting absorbed. So what are the good sources of fat? It is extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, olives, avocado, nuts and seeds, and oily fish. Oily fish is particularly because it is a source of omega-3 fatty acids, and you can find them in sardines, mackerel, salmon, anchovies, and herrings. And actually, recent studies show that it may help to alleviate menopausal symptoms of hot flushes and depression, and omega-3 is also powerful anti-inflammatory. It is, from a health perspective, there are few reasons to go and buy organic. And one reason is that these foods are likely to contain more valuable nutrients because they are grown on the soil that is not as depleted. And the other important reason is that you are reducing your exposure to xenoestrogens. And we talked that xenoestrogen, which is estrogens that are coming into our body from the environment that is surrounding us. So, and it can come from plastics, it's come from pesticides, it's come from cleaning materials. And at this time of your life, when your body is going through the hormonal transition, you really do not want to upset that delicate balance by exposing yourself to unnecessary excessive amounts of external estrogen. So if you can, switch to organic fruit and vegetables, and also to grass-fed organic meat and dairy. Fiber is one of the wonder foods for the menopause. And this is because fiber helps to improve our digestive health. It helps improve our blood sugar balance, reduce high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and also it helps with the weight loss by giving a sense of fullness and satisfaction. But you will say, so how does it relate to the menopause? Because fiber helps to get rid of toxins and waste and excess estrogens. It basically helps to control estrogens in the body. And it may seem strange to think about the digestive system when we're talking about the balancing hormones, but the fiber that we eat help us to excrete these old estrogens that we were talking about through the bowels. And if this doesn't happen, this process doesn't happen efficiently, then the estrogens can recirculate, giving you higher levels of this hormone than you should have. And with the, as we said, that extra estrogens, these old estrogens that recirculate in the body, can increase risk of breast cancer. So fiber is really your friend. And eat whole grains like brown rice, quinoa, oats is lovely source of soluble fiber. Fruit and vegetables, and aim for 5 to 8 portions of fruit and vegetable a day. So go easy on fruit, maybe 1 or 2 portions a day, and the rest it should be vegetables. Seeds and nuts is a great source of fiber, beans, lentils, chickpeas, and flax seeds. So an aim for minimum of 35 grams of fiber a day. And do remember that 35 grams of beans is not 35 grams of fiber, because beans contain proteins, they contain carbohydrates, minerals, and nutrients. So there is a chart that, if you wish, I can provide you with, where it is stated how much fiber in each food. It's actually very, very interesting. So this is all lovely. This is what we need to include in our diet. But what we should avoid, what doesn't do good to our hormones. And you may not like me for that. And, this is up to you. But these foods, and what I will tell you about now, is going to interfere with health of your hormones. And first, it is refined carbohydrates. Pastries, donuts, biscuits, cakes, juice, white bread, and pizzas. Because all these refined carbohydrates are completely stripped of all the goodness. They do not have any nutrients in them. They do not have fiber in them. It means that they are, once we eat them, they are absorbed in our blood very quickly. It raises glucose in our blood very quickly, very high. And in response to this, our pancreas starts releasing insulin, causing our blood sugar to dip really very quickly. And this, this is like a blood sugar roller coaster. When we eat something refined, our blood sugar shoots, to find that only a few hours later, it drops really very low. And this can makes us tired. It may cause mood swings and cravings, and also weight gain, because we crave food all the time. And this is important to understand, especially when we're going through the perimenopause, because your mood may fluctuate due to hormonal changes, and being on blood sugar roller coaster is only going to make this worse. It is very important to keep your blood sugar stable and replace this food with whole grains variety. So during perimenopause, your adrenal glands produce a form of estrogen that helps to protect our bones, because the production of estrogen declines from the ovaries and our adrenals take over. And you do not really want to overwork your adrenal glands while they do this. Because when our sugar level dips, then we start to produce cortisol. This is stress hormone. Because otherwise our body will be busy with producing cortisol rather than producing the sex hormones that we are so desperately need. Sugar and artificial sweetness, it plays the same role in the body. It will really set you up on a roller coaster. And ready meals, fast foods and takeaways, they contain a lot of bad fats, as well sugar. They will contain flavorings, which are really not good. It will keep your liver really very busy. So next thing is, what do we want to avoid? Don't shoot the messenger again, and it is caffeine and alcohol. The thing is that this product, the caffeine and alcohol, they're both stimulants, and they're not doing your hormones any good. They're not only, they are known to trigger hot flashes, it will also mess with your blood sugar. It will quite likely will make you to store fat and interrupt your sleep. And next morning you will wake up groggy, tired, and you will reach for another snack, which will not do good to your weight at all. And also, the alcohol depletes nutrients that are needed for our hormone production, things, especially vitamin B, B vitamins. So try to have maybe a few nights of alcohol, or maybe the whole week of alcohol, and just let your body to do its job, produce hormones, rather than being busy with processing alcohol and caffeine. Okay, next thing I would like to mention is to stop snacking. If you constantly snack, and quite often we are taught that, you know, eat little and often, grazing here, grazing there. But the thing is, if we are snacking all the time, that our body have always a steady supply of glucose to use as an energy. It means that your body will never get to use your fat stores. And if you leave 4 to 5 hours between the meals, between your breakfast and lunch, between your lunch and dinner, then you will naturally burn more fat. And actually fasting, overnight fasting, like between 12 to 16 hours, has very similar effects. So it is great if you want to lose weight. However, the caution here, do not do this, do not fast if you have any blood sugar issues, if you feel dizzy or faint. Get advice from your nutrition professional or from your health professional. And another advice is, my recommendation is stop dieting. When you're 40 or over, the diet has to stop. Low-calorie diets and fat diets are designed for a quick fix. When they say lose 10 pounds in 3 days. The thing is that these diets are designed to restrict calories all of a sudden. So your brain thinks that there is a famine happening. And after a while, it will alert your adrenals to release cortisol because it is a stress on the body. So, and adrenals will put you into survival mode. So, and what will happen, this stress hormone cortisol will shut down metabolism to conserve energy because it is in a famine. It needs to do it. It needs to save us. And it will send constant signal to our brain that you need food desperately. So, and you will get very powerful signal to your brain for carbohydrates and sugar cravings. And you will not be able to ignore it. You will not sustain it for a long time. And as a result, what will happen? You will have no energy and you will be miserable. So, and eventually you will give in and you will come back to your normal diet. However, your metabolism is really slow now. And guess what? You will start pile the weight on and maybe more. So if you really would like a sustainable results, then you really need to move away from the whole diet mentality and focus on balancing your hormones instead. No low calories, no deprivation diets, no low fat diets. Okay, just start to think about food that nourishes your hormones, because it is your hormones that control your weight. So if you look after them, it makes sense that they will look after you. And, including me, many of us has fallen for it. And these diets can only really stress your body and disrupt your hormones. So now let's have a look at what happens in our body with declining of hormones from our ovaries. So as production of sex hormones declines from the ovaries, we talked a little bit about adrenal glands, but I just would like to show you where they are. They're just here. They're sitting on top of our kidneys. And as we head towards menopause, our adrenal glands take over from our ovaries. And many women approach perimenopause in a state of emotional and nutritional depletion, and it can affect the optimal function of adrenal glands. And the main factor that affects production of sex hormone is stress. So, and stress, cortisol is a stress hormone produced by the adrenal glands, and the role of the stress hormone is to keep us alive. When there is a danger coming our way and we need to run away or do something really very quickly, then our body releases, adrenals release cortisol, and it focuses all the energy for us to survive. And as a result, there is no energy for digestive processes, for fat burning, for sex hormone production. And if you think about our ancestors many millions ago, when they had to run out from the tiger, the cortisol would be released. They run away from the tiger. When the danger is over, cortisol is coming down. But what happens in our modern life? In our modern life, we are under stress constantly. So our body thinks that we are running away from the danger all the time. And the stress coming from work, it can come from family, financial worries, emotion, it could be relationships. Poor diet is a stress for the body, as well as a lack of sleep. And actually, when we're really very stressed, stress depletes our body from nutrients, which are so needed for production for our hormones. So this is called cortisol steal. Therefore, it is so important to relax and to manage our stress. Because if our adrenals in a state of stress, we will never produce enough sex hormones. We will be constantly producing cortisol, and it will makes us irritable, hot flashes, headaches, immunity goes out of the window, we're putting weight on. So all these lovely symptoms will follow us if we will not take care of our stress. So when you enter perimenopause, stress management is very important. So what can we do to manage our stress? First of all, make sure that you get enough sleep. And you need to sleep for at least 8 hours a night. So, and it not being in bed for 8 hours, but actually sleep for 8 hours. It means that you need in bed for half an hour before you fall asleep, about 9 hours. Sleep is very important, because if we don't sleep enough, we will be producing cortisol, our body will suffer. So deep breathing exercises is very easy, very easy to do. Things like mindfulness or meditation. There is an app called Calm. I have mentioned it here. It is free. There is a 10-15 meditation sessions. They are lovely. And you don't really need to spend hours for stress management. If you spend this 10-15 minutes a day, really whatever works for you, whether it is yoga, whether it is getting out into nature, if you can take 10-15 minutes away from your desk and just to go for a short walk, sit on a bench, look out of the window, listen to the birds, I don't know, stare at the sky and watch the stars on the skies, reading, massage, bath with essential oils, whatever floats your boat. But you need to take care of your stress in order to make sure that your body produces enough sex hormones that are so desperately we need during the perimenopause. Yes, and actually we did say that the stress depletes our nutrients, a lot of nutrients. It needs for production of cortisol. We need a lot of nutrients to do that. So, and we need to restore nutrients if we are stressed. Things like B vitamins, vitamin C, magnesium, all those are widely available in fruit and vegetables, B vitamins in oats, nuts and seeds, organic meat, fish and dairy. Vitamin C, make sure that you eat a rainbow of colors of fruit and vegetables to ensure that you get good levels of vitamin C in your system. So especially bell peppers, things like kiwi, citrus, fruit, green leafy vegetables are really high in vitamin C. And magnesium. Magnesium is a mineral which is super important for our adrenals, which is important for energy production. So loads and loads of green leafy vegetables, nuts, seeds, brown rice, beans, avocados have a lot of magnesium. And exercise. We all need to exercise, and we do need to exercise. However, as a woman over 40, you really need to be careful about how much you exercise. We are constantly told that we need to eat less and move more, calories in, calories out, burn baby burn. But to start with, this message is purely wrong for women over 40 who already have to deal with raging hormones. Because exercise naturally raises cortisol, and we talked about the cortisol and its function, which is good if your body is not dealing with too much to start with. But if you're already stressed, if you're already tired, if you're already dealing with raging hormones, then extra cortisol from exercising can end up depleting you and not recharging you. So therefore, make sure that you you really see how you exercise, you balance your exercise. So and you know, actually, if you over exercise over 40, it can really have effect on your weight, because for some people it seems the longer they exercise, the more they do not lose weight. And this is because it is again to do with cortisol, because it puts our body into a state of stress and the body hangs on to fat. So you really need to think about how you exercise. Extreme exercise maybe not good when you're over 40. So the physical activities to support your hormonal balance is things like walking. It could be gentle swimming. Resistance training is very good with the weights because it helps to keep our muscles toned and muscles and also our bones healthy. Things like yoga, Pilates, dancing, really very light exercise when you feel you're energized rather than you're dragging your heels. So I was talking for a long time, probably too long. I hope I have given you a food for thought to support yourself during this hormonal transition. And the one thing that I would like you to hold on to is self-care. And self-care at this stage of your life is non-negotiable. We really need to look after ourselves to ensure that we have a happy and safe transition into the next stage of our life. And you know, when they say that there is nothing you can do, you just have to go to get on with it, it is not true, because there are so many things you can do, from cleaning up your diet, to minimizing your exposure to estrogens, to better managing your stress, to getting the right exercise for your body, and also taking the right supplements. But for that, you need to have a consultation with your nutrition or health professional. And you see, I see in my clinics how this, you know, little tweaks in the diet and the lifestyle can make really difference to the woman's symptoms. And if you're suffering from the perimenopausal symptoms, then do ask for help. Just don't suffer in silence. There is a help out there, okay? And I really don't want any woman to suffer in silence. Get in touch with me. I run 30 minutes free hormonal health review. And you can book your appointment on my website, innerwellness.com, or you can send me email info@innerwellness. And also, if you subscribe to my hormone balancing program, then I will give a 20% off to ASMALLWORLD members. Oh yes, I really wish you a very healthy and happy transition with as little symptoms as possible. I have issued my ebook called Healthy Happy Hormones, so download it, use it, it is free. And hopefully it will help you in your transition. Also, you can find my book on my Facebook business page, Inner Wellness, Nutrition and Lifestyle for Menopause. Have a look on my Instagram and also in my Facebook group, Applause for Menopause. Thank you so much for your attention. You were a lovely audience. And now we can move to the questions. Let's have a look. So there is a question, it's a very good question. I have noticed my joints are hurting more, crackling more when I stretch, greater soreness after exercise, even after walking, excuse me, even after walking several miles, feels like arthritis. Should I take collagen or certain herbs? I'm young and active, 52. The thing is that, as I mentioned, the joint pain is one of the perimenopause symptoms. And there could be several reasons why. Some women become very sensitive to gluten. It could be food sensitivities, and it is not only gluten. So you might try to eliminate some food groups for a time being, not for a long time, not forever. So there could be because there is a lack of, maybe you're not drinking enough water. There may be a toxicity or inflammation going in your body. So should you take collagen? Collagen is good. Make sure that you take vitamin C, because vitamin C is a really good friend in perimenopause, because it is precursor to collagen. So, and we need collagen because it will start depleting sooner or later. Herbs, not herbs at this stage, but glucosamine is a good idea. However, if I would be you, I would have advice from your healthcare professional or have a chat with a nutritional therapist. So I hope I answered that question. Really very good questions. I'm having hair loss. Is it because of the perimenopause? Yes, it could be, but also hair loss could be to other number of reasons. It could be due to lack of nutrients. It could be due to low thyroid. So therefore, you really need to get yourself tested. So do test your thyroid and make sure that you can that you have good level of proteins in your diet. But hair loss is quite serious, so I would suggest that you have consultation with your healthcare practitioner or with nutritional therapist if you would like to go the natural way. There is the same similar questions. I'm losing a lot of hair. What is good to eat or drink in order to avoid it? I think that I have answered that question, because there could be several reasons for hair loss. So you know, you really need to be checked. You need to check your thyroid levels. You need to check your diet, and perimenopause can cause it. The lack of estrogen may cause hair loss. Lovely question here. I eat mainly plant-based with the usual vegan supplements. It appears that unknowingly I have been eating many phytoestrogens as part of my diet as well. Well done. It's excellent. So I don't know how old are you, but hopefully that, you know, it helps you with your perimenopause symptoms. And actually it shows that people who are vegetarians or vegans, they have less menopause symptoms. But I'm not encouraging you to give up eating meat. You can have meat, but you can have one or meat or twice, for example, a week. But make sure during the perimenopause your diet is really, really rich in fruit and vegetables. You know, in all color fruit and vegetables, and half of your plate should be filled with vegetables. This is so important for your diet. Do you have a similar presentation for men? I don't have a presentation for men, but I can prepare a presentation for men, because actually men as women, they don't go through the menopause, they may go through the andropause. So it is very different from women. However, men can experience the drop in hormones as well. So yes, I would love to talk to men about hormones as well. That would be absolute pleasure. So I don't see any more questions. Do ask me, please do ask me questions. I hope that this talk have quite covered a lot of grounds, and I hope it have not confused you. And the main message here, that prepare yourself for perimenopause. And as we said, that perimenopause starts around the age of 40, for some women at the age of 35, because after the age of 35, our hormones, eggs, follicles start depleting. So, and if you enter perimenopause in a good optimal health and lifestyle, then the symptoms will not be severe and you will sail through this. So, my lovely ladies and gentlemen, have a lovely evening, and thank you so much for your attention. I'm Inner Wellness. Have a lovely, lovely evening and the week and the weekend, and I hope that I will see you at one of my consultations. I would love to talk to you, and don't forget to download my ebook. Thank you so much. Lovely to talk to you.